Imagine a world where space travel becomes routine, led by private companies racing to conquer the cosmos. Today, we delve into the dramatic showdown between SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Boeing. What secrets lie behind SpaceX's latest triumph and Boeing's persistent struggles with the Starliner project? Stay with us to uncover the twists and turns of this epic space race. When people think of rocket launches, SpaceX is often the first name that comes to mind. While Elon Musk's influence and his social media presence certainly play a role in this recognition, it's far from the entire picture. SpaceX has brought forth numerous groundbreaking innovations to the aerospace industry, establishing a new benchmark that many other companies are now striving to meet. The company's relentless effort is paying off, as they have recently secured one of the most significant contracts ever awarded. In this video, we'll dive into the details of this major contract and explore its implications. But before we get into the specifics, please subscribe to our channel for the latest updates on SpaceX's pioneering achievements. SpaceX, the private aerospace company founded by Elon Musk, has recently been awarded a substantial contract from the Pentagon. This contract, which is part of a $5.6 billion deal, involves launching national security satellites. Alongside SpaceX, Blue Origin and United Launch Alliance, ULA, will be responsible for about 34 missions over the next 5 years. The U.S. Department of Defense requires reliable and secure satellite launches, crucial for national security. To meet these needs, the Department of Defense awarded contracts to multiple companies. SpaceX secured approximately 40% of these missions, and they plan to use their Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy rockets for the launches. Known for its reusable first stage, the Falcon 9 helps lower launch costs significantly. On the other hand, the Falcon Heavy, the most powerful operational rocket, is capable of carrying heavy payloads, making it ideal for these vital missions. The competition for this contract was fierce. In addition to SpaceX, Blue Origin, owned by Amazon's Jeff Bezos, and United Launch Alliance also received portions of the contract. Blue Origin will utilize its new rocket, New Glenn, which is still in development, while ULA will deploy its Vulcan Centaur rocket, designed to replace older models like the Atlas V. Financially, winning this contract is a huge victory for SpaceX. It ensures a steady stream of income, which is crucial for funding other ambitious projects like the Starship spacecraft. With about 40% of the total contract, SpaceX stands to earn roughly $2.2 billion over the next 5 years. This influx of funds can be directed toward various projects. For example, each Falcon 9 launch costs about $62 million. With $2.2 billion, SpaceX could finance approximately 36 Falcon 9 launches. This allows them to keep up a rigorous schedule of commercial and governmental launches, further cementing their reputation for reliability and efficiency. In terms of Starship development, each prototype costs around $216 million. The funds from this contract could enable SpaceX to develop around 10 Starship prototypes. This significant investment in Starship is crucial as SpaceX aims to make it the primary vehicle for missions to Mars and beyond. Moreover, the revenue from this contract will support SpaceX's broader objectives, such as expanding the Starlink satellite constellation, which aims to deliver global high-speed internet access. While SpaceX and even smaller companies like Blue Origin are securing multi-billion-dollar contracts, Boeing, the oldest commercial space company, is facing one problem after another with its Starliner spacecraft. Boeing's Starliner spacecraft has faced many delays and challenges since its inception. The project, which aimed to restore America's ability to launch astronauts into space from U.S. soil, began with high hopes and a significant investment from NASA. In 2014, NASA awarded Boeing a $4.2 billion contract to develop the Starliner as part of its Commercial Crew program, with the goal of having a reliable spacecraft ready by 2017. The need for a new spacecraft became urgent after the Space Shuttle program's retirement in 2011. The Space Shuttle had been the backbone of America's human spaceflight capability for 3 decades, but it had significant safety concerns. The Challenger disaster in 1986 and the Columbia disaster in 2003, which resulted in the loss of both shuttles and their crews, highlighted these issues. With the shuttle program retired, the U.S. faced the uncomfortable reality of relying on Russian Soyuz spacecraft to transport astronauts to the International Space Station. This dependency was not only costly but also politically sensitive. It became clear that America needed to develop its own capability to launch astronauts into space again. As a response, NASA initiated the Commercial Crew program, an ambitious effort to foster public-private partnerships to develop new spacecraft. Alongside Boeing's Starliner, SpaceX's Dragon spacecraft was also developed as part of this initiative. SpaceX's Dragon spacecraft has been remarkably successful. The Dragon successfully completed its first crewed mission, Demo 2, in May 2020. This historic flight marked the first time astronauts launched from U.S. soil since the end of the Space Shuttle program. It has become the most reliable spacecraft for ferrying astronauts to and from the International Space Station, completing multiple crewed missions without significant issues. The success of SpaceX especially has made people question Boeing's failure to deliver a similar spacecraft despite receiving almost double the amount of money from NASA. Starliner's first flight to the International Space Station was back in 2019. However, the mission was cut short due to multiple software issues that prevented the spacecraft from reaching the International Space Station. One of the primary issues was a timer anomaly. The spacecraft's mission elapsed timer was incorrectly initialized due to a software error, causing an 11-hour discrepancy. This error prevented the thrusters from firing at the right time to reach the planned orbit, leading the spacecraft to consume more fuel than expected, which ruled out the planned docking with the space station. Additionally, during the mission, a valve mapping error was discovered. This issue affected the thrusters in the vehicle service module, which are responsible for performing a disposal burn after separating from the crew module before re-entry. Had this error not been corrected in time, it could have caused a collision between the service module and the crew module, potentially damaging the capsule's heat shield. A second uncrewed test flight for Boeing's Starliner was initially scheduled for 2020 but faced multiple delays, eventually launching successfully in May 2022. This mission provided the necessary data to move forward with a crewed flight test. However, the path to the crewed test was not smooth. On June 5, 2024, Boeing's Starliner finally launched with NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sunita Williams on board. The spacecraft docked at the International Space Station the next day. The mission's primary goal was to conduct a comprehensive on-orbit test of the spacecraft, initially planned to last about a week. However, this mission encountered several issues even before launch. One significant problem was a helium leak in the spacecraft's propulsion system, which was detected during the countdown for a launch attempt on May 6, 2024. Initially, engineers believed the leak was minor enough to permit the launch, but further tests showed it persisted, causing a delay to address the issue. This helium leak was traced to a flange in a thruster within the spacecraft's service module. Engineers attempted to tighten bolts around the leak and performed additional tests to ensure the system retained sufficient performance and redundancy during the flight. Despite these efforts, the helium leak caused multiple delays. The launch was rescheduled several times, finally taking place on June 5, 2024, after NASA and Boeing determined the leak was stable enough not to pose a risk. Even after reaching the space station, Starliner faced additional challenges, such as thruster glitches during the docking process, which engineers monitored and addressed. Initially scheduled to return to Earth on June 18, Boeing's Starliner mission faced multiple delays, pushing the return date to June 22, and it may extend even further. One of the main reasons for the delay was the discovery of a helium leak, which we just talked about. During its time at the station, the crew and engineers continued to address the helium leak and other issues such as a sticky oxidizer valve and faulty thrusters. The long-term goal for Boeing's Starliner spacecraft is to support 6-month missions docked at the International Space Station. Despite these ambitious plans, Boeing's goal of making the Starliner commercially operational by 2025 appears challenging given the persistent technical issues the spacecraft has faced. These issues not only delay current missions, but also cast doubt on the spacecraft's readiness for long-term routine use. And that's all for today's update. If you enjoyed watching and found it useful, please make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.